It was a freezing December morning, just a few days before Christmas, when Sarah sat alone in her small office cubicle, watching snowflakes fall like tiny pieces of quietness outside the window, wishing she could borrow some of that peace for herself. She had been exhausted for weeks, managing endless office responsibilities, household chores, constant deadlines, and the heavy pressure placed on her by her boss, Helen, whose voice echoed in her head even during the moments she tried to rest. That very morning, Helen walked into her cubicle with quick, sharp footsteps, dropped a thick file on her desk, and without even offering a hint of softness said, "Your husband and his family are coming for Christmas? Great. I'll be on vacation, so you're in charge." Before giving her that familiar half-smile, the kind that wasn't warm, wasn't kind, wasn't friendly, just a reminder of power and expectation. Sarah forced a thin smile, but inside she felt something sink, because she already knew this Christmas wasn't going to be peaceful. Instead, it felt like another wave of stress heading toward her, waiting to crush whatever energy she had left. When she returned home that evening, her husband Jack tried to reassure her, telling her they would handle things together, but Sarah knew that although she loved his family, their visits always came with tension. Her mother-in-law, who demanded perfection in every corner of the house, her sister-in-law, who analyzed everything as if she were inspecting a hotel, and her brother-in-law, who had a habit of commenting on things no one wanted to hear. On Christmas Eve, when the doorbell rang and she opened the door to see them all standing there with suitcases, gifts, bags, blankets, and the unmistakable atmosphere of expectations, she felt her heart tighten. Within an hour, the routine began, her mother-in-law criticizing her cookies for being a little too hard, her sister-in-law suggesting the Christmas tree needed more ornaments, and her brother-in-law complaining about the heater being too low. Meanwhile, work emails kept flooding her phone because Helen, enjoying her vacation, kept assigning new tasks and decisions to Sarah as if she wasn't already drowning at home. Sarah tried to keep calm, telling herself it was only a few days, but every hour felt heavier, every comment stung deeper, and every responsibility, both at home and at work, kept building like a silent mountain inside her chest. One night before Christmas dinner, as Sarah rushed around the kitchen preparing multiple dishes while listening to whispers of criticism behind her, her mother-in-law walked in and said in her usual sweet but sharp tone, "I told Jack you'd become better at cooking this year, but it seems work has tired you out. Why don't you rest? We'll handle things." And then her sister-in-law added, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, "Hosting Christmas isn't that hard. You just need more planning." That moment felt like something inside Sarah cracked. She quietly slipped out of the kitchen, walked to the balcony, and stood under the falling snow, letting the cold numb the burned building behind her eyes. She wondered why everything she did was treated as insufficient, why her efforts were invisible, why she was always made to feel like she wasn't enough. Jack eventually found her, saw the tears she tried to hide, and promised he would talk to his family. The next day, just before Christmas lunch, he gathered everyone in the living room and said firmly, "Before we start anything, I need to say something important." The entire room fell into silence as he continued, explaining how Sarah had been handling work and home alone, how she hadn't complained, how she had done everything she possibly could, and how everyone, even unintentionally, had added to her stress rather than easing it. His words stunned the room. His mother looked down, his sister opened her mouth but said nothing, and his brother finally admitted he hadn't realized the pressure Sarah was under. Slowly, one by one, they apologized, sincerely, not out of formality but with real understanding. And for the first time, Sarah felt seen. That Christmas dinner turned out completely different from what she had feared. Her mother-in-law prepared the salad, her sister-in-law baked the dessert, her brother-in-law decorated the table, and Jack stayed close to her, making sure she ate, laughed, and breathed. As the night ended, Sarah stepped onto the balcony again, watching the snow fall softly, but this time she felt peace instead of pressure. Jack wrapped his arms around her and whispered that sometimes people needed to be shown the truth before they understood it, and that she was stronger than she realized. She smiled, looking at the warm lights glowing from inside the house, feeling something she hadn't felt in weeks, relief. And that one line her boss had thrown at her, "You're in charge," which once felt like a burden, now felt like something else entirely. She was in charge, not because Helen forced responsibility onto her, not because she had to be, but because she had faced pressure, hurt, exhaustion, and still found strength within herself. She was in charge of her peace, her boundaries, her happiness, and her life. And for the first time, Christmas felt like a beginning instead of a burden, a reminder that even when the world expects too much, standing up for yourself and having someone stand with you can change everything.